All right, everyone, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you back to Mercy Mondays this week. And today we're going to be talking about the topic of operating through your fear. And then I want to pair that slightly with operating in your purpose or the call on your life. Operating in fear. So what is fear? Fear for most of us is going to lie on the negative emotion side of the scale. If you have to place them in the negative or positive emotion category. Fear scares us. Fear is not something that most of us are fond of. And fear can do one of two things to you typically. It can either stagnate you, paralyze you, cause you to stop, or you can still feel fear and operate through it and achieve something great, whether it be, hey, I tried something despite feeling that, or hey, I tried it when I felt fear and found out it wasn't that bad after all. Most of us feel fear about a situation for a couple of reasons. Most being, oh my goodness, I've heard about that, so I feel fear because of other people's experiences and what they've gone through, and I've seen enough to know that that may be an outcome that I can experience if I choose to follow that path. Or it can be more personal to yourself. I'll use the example of flying. Oh my goodness, I'm so scared of flying because I myself have flown, and on that first flight of my life, I had the worst turbulence. So you've had a personal experience that has solidified that fear or that emotion towards that experience. So you can have it vicariously, you can have it personally. Whatever the case may be, you have decided in your mind that there should be fear attributed to whatever it is that you are saying that you don't want to do. I would challenge people here because just because you have one bad experience does not mean that future experiences will garner that same response or same outcome. The second thing I would challenge you to believe or start to believe is just because somebody else had that outcome does not mean that that will be yours. A lot of us, we find a rhyme or a reason or things to validate how we feel because it will justify our actions. For me, I have always been of the mind that it's not a problem until it's a problem. Just because that was your experience doesn't mean that it has to be mine. And just because I may have had a bad experience the first time doesn't mean that the second go around is going to give me that same outcome. And that is because emotions are fleeting, which means that they're temporary. And it's something that I, as the individual, can give power to or take power away from. Knowing that I have control over that gives me the decision-making skills back. Meaning, I would rather operate through my fear. Let me try in spite of. Let me, even though I don't feel, 110%, I'm nervous, I'm scared, if you ask me, I'm shaking in my boots and I'm about to pee on myself. But one thing that I do know is that if I never try again, or if I don't operate through my fear, if I let that have so much control over me to the point where I'm stagnating, I could be missing something, an opportunity that can garner something positive for myself. I could be missing the opportunity to be something for somebody else. If I allow myself to be so fearful, I don't do something, I could be affecting somebody else's life. And that's something that I don't want as well. And then the last part is that I know that God can do anything with 2 out of the 3 decisions. Meaning, hey, I was right. He can do something with the right decision. Hey, I was wrong. He can do something with a wrong decision, but he cannot do anything with a stagnant individual. He cannot drive a parked car. He can't do anything if you do not choose to move. So for me, fear, I feel it. It comes. It's real. I experience it quite often. But what I do choose to know is that everything works out for your good. Everything, will end up on this side of the scale for me. All of this in between is just me as a human trying to figure it out. But one thing I do know is that it all works out for my good. So why let fear stagnate me? Everyone, I want you to know that fear is real, and that you have fear for a reason, for a purpose, and a lot of you are justified. And I'm not trying to diminish anything that anybody has gone through or why they feel fear about a certain area or topic in their life. But what I would challenge you to do is that if you never grow beyond that, if you never step outside of that, you'll never know. You'll never know. And you making it up in your mind because it feels so real to you is not you knowing. It's not a real justification or validation for what you're doing or choosing not to do. Which takes me into following that call and the purpose on your life. Regardless of what you believe or how you come to know or come to discover the purpose in your life, a lot of us feel fear in that discovery phase. I'll use myself as an example. Making job changes or trying new things or going new places and having new experiences all started with a bit of fear because it's wandering into the unknown. Yeah, I know everything works out for my good, but am I making the right decision here? Am I crazy? Am I ludicrous? Am I just off the beaten path? Am I sipping the Kool-Aid? Am I making this up? Once again, whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, whether I'm being led into the abyss, I'm choosing to follow my faith, following my intuition, following that gut that says this is what you're supposed to be doing, not having all of the answers. That's crazy. You should have a plan. You should know. I'm not jumping until I have it all laid out. Sometimes you're not going to have this red carpet laid out. You're not going to have the exact blueprint for where you're headed. But you have to take it step by step, day by day, moment by moment, experience by experience in order to achieve where you believe that you're supposed to go. And it's not going to make sense to everyone. And it doesn't have to make sense to everyone, as long as you know, as long as you feel right, as long as you feel like that's where your heart is being led and that's where it's being guided. You are the only person who you have to make sense to. For me, I check in with the man upstairs because, I got to follow his plan and his blueprint and his will for my life. But as long as me and him are in tune and we are aligned, I know that nothing will ever be to my detriment and I'm not going to die. Whether I make the right decision or wrong decision. 99.9% of the time, my decisions are not going to cause me an imminent death. So take that leap of faith. Take that opportunity. Try something new, even if it sounds ridiculous and, unorthodox to other people around you. Because their plan is not your plan. Their life is not your life. Their calling is not your calling. It is unique, it is individual, and it is personally designed for yourself. So you have to, one, find out what that is. Feel that intuition, feel that gut instinct, be in tune with your star player, as Cat Williams said, and run with it. Run with it. Knowing that whether you're right, you're wrong, indifferent, you'll discover that, but that you are following your path and the calling on your life in spite of things not necessarily making sense to everyone, despite how you may feel if you're scared and, you know, things like that. I literally left something that was planned, made sense, I had a salary, I had everything laid out. So for people outside looking in, well, why'd you go back to flying? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense for you. But I know that where I am today, this moment, this time that I'm spending, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm called back for a reason. Don't know what it is, but I knew that the anointing and the calling was on my life at that time. And if I did not move or I did not operate, God would have got me there eventually, but I don't want him to do it by force. I don't want him to ask me twice. I'm good. Don't make sense to me. But if this is where you're leading me, if this is where you're guiding me, who am I not to follow? And I knew whether I was right or wrong, I was protected. God will never let any harm come my way because my intent and my heart and the reasons that I did things were good. Was I scared? Absolutely. Did I want to sit back and be like, oh no, hanging on to what I knew? Absolutely, because that's safe. That made sense to me. It worked out in my human brain. But sometimes in order to achieve big, you have to bet big. In order to gain, sometimes you gotta push it all out on the line. And I took a leap, believing and knowing and trusting in that everything's gonna work out for my good. So I would encourage everyone, if you feel fear, it's okay. That's gonna happen. It's common. It is not unheard of. But operate through your fear. Challenge yourself to have a different experience. And also know that you decide the power that you give or that you take away from any emotion. Let it pass. It doesn't last always, or if you do, be proud of yourself for taking that baby step in a direction that you normally wouldn't have. It is my hope and my prayer that this message touches somebody, and that you choose to maybe try something new, operate through your fear, take a leap despite it not making sense to everybody else, but begin to challenge yourself. And I promise you the rewards of challenging yourself, they're there and they happen. And if nothing else, you have an experience to add to your book in life, and it didn't kill you. So you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Be blessed, and take this time to bless others, but push past, push through. There's definitely something on the other side for you. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next week.